I guess I could tell you guys this. So this is a new thing happening in my personal life.
Okay.
My son, who is 10 years old,
Yes.
has informed me that he has a girlfriend.
No.
Wow.
Very true.
Finn has a girlfriend.
Finn
Way
has
to
a
go,
girlfriend.
Finn.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We won't say her name.
Yep. Of
course.
Right. She's 34. And, no. In his class.
And his teacher.
Oh, it is rough. It's a real Mary Kay Letourneau situation.
Yes.
Right.
And then he said Latourne, yes. And I'm like, what? Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that's,
No, so he had told us, like, this girl in his class liked him. And I was like, how do you feel about that? We talked about it. And he's like,
Yep.
I'm not sure. And then some time went by. And then I picked him up from an event that was after school. I'm bringing him home. And and then he hits me with this. He's like, so I think I like that girl now.
Good.
And I went, oh, okay. And I'm like, did you tell her? You know? And he's like, yeah, kind of. And he's like, we held hands today. And I'm like, I wanted to screech that car to a stop and just be like, wait, what?
you should have done it just for the bit.
Yeah, that would have been good. A lot of people would have died.
Yeah,
but I
worth it.
commit to the bit.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, we did yesterday too. And I'm like, you didn't tell us yesterday, right? I was so blown away by this thing. And, you know, it's all very cute.
Yes.
It's all very sweet. He's 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I think that's very nice. And it's a cute thing. And then there was a part of me deep down where I was like, I'm proud of him. This is great. You know, he's handling it well.
Yep.
He hasn't been like shitty about anything. Everything's good. There was a little part of me that was like, I didn't hold hands when I was in 5th grade.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's like ahead of me.
Yeah.
And now I have to wrestle with the question,
Whoa.
what if he, you know what I'm saying, seals the deal
Becomes like a-
at a younger age than I sealed the deal?
Whoa.
Everybody wants better for their children.
It's true.
But not
But also, like, hang on, pal. You know what I mean?
hit the brake.
Slow the roll.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
That's
a
where
really,
I'm at right
That's
now.
an interesting.
It's a lot. Makes me feel very old.
Yeah.
But I'm doing okay.
I'll say someday I hope to hold hands with a woman.
How do you feel about going back to the 5th grade?
How many
Billy Madison.
How many spelling bees are there?
Yeah. Quite a few.
Oh, if there's quite a few, I'm in.
Oh.
Wow.
You got to
That's
stop seeing them as competition.
That's a really.
Stop putting me in spelling bees against them.
That's fair.
Can I say something that's a little bit more emotional?
Sure.
Like, he's eventually going to get his heart broken by somebody. That's tough.
Yes.
And
one day he'll die.
no. I mean, like, you know, he's
No,
probably
yeah,
going to be
it'll
like
happen.
13 or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh no, of course. That's
That's a
that's
scary
part of
thing.
life, and it'll be a thing. Yeah.
What I think of having,
Or maybe he lives like that blessed life where it never fucking happens.
Yeah.
And you're
Wow.
like, wow, what kind of fucking charm do you have?
what if he marries this person he's dating now? That would be crazy.
I don't think I would like that. I think you got to get out there and experience some stuff. You know, maybe eventually marry
Yeah.
that person.
Oh,
but at
connect
first you
later
got to
in
get
life.
out there. Get out on the prairie. See
Yeah.
see what the world looks like out there. Get on a ship. Go across the ocean. See what's over there.
So, you know, it's funny because like he's going to become like an adult. And by adult,
Eventually,
I mean like, you
unless
know,
the chemicals are doing their job.
I mean like,
Forever
you know,
kid.
he's 14, 15.
Yeah.
What if he comes to you and he's like, dude, he's like, I'm 17. I'm about to graduate high school.
I don't like that he called me dude.
He's calling you dude.
And I go, Dad. Like
And
that.
he goes, instead of going to college, I want to backpack across Europe. Are you saying go for it?
I would say go for it, do it for a year, and then go to college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you be nervous?
No, because I would have to fight the real urge in me to be like, I want to go too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
of
what I
course.
mean?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
like my job allows me the excuse to be like, no, I'm doing shows while I'm out there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I
right.
can do that. But I have to be like, no, he has to do that. He
Yeah.
has to go
Wow.
do the thing. He has to make his own stupid mistakes. And then when he goes, I'll go, I'm going the other way.
Yeah.
And I'll make my own stupid mistakes over here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot.
It's so funny. You're kind of crossing this bridge. I'd never really. When I think about having a kid, I think a lot about the baby years, I guess what they would refer to as the infant, toddler, and then like going to school for the first time.
Yeah.
But the idea of getting to the point where it's like I'm interested in a romantic relationship, that's a turning point, man.
Man, the
I think
idea
he's
the-
only into it physically, so he's just like I'm into it for that sweet
Sweet
hand
hand.
holding. Ooh,
I like the idea that Chuck thinks about kids and like day one they get on the bus for school and Chuck's like, well, My job is done.
Yeah.
It's up to the schools now.
To be fair, though, he had a different series of phases.
Yeah.
Baby,
Yeah.
infant, enfant terrible.
Yes.
Right? And, no, but it is a thing. You know what? Open the episode, and then I want to tell you about the thing that flooded back to me when he told me that.
All
right.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Funbearable. I am Brad Rohr.
I am Ray in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man. That had a real moment with that. Harrington.
And I'm Chuck, the top hand holder. Stay in. When I put on my sunglasses. Stay in.
And I'm Chuck, all thumbs. Stay. So
I'm Brad Hook Hands.
say, Stumpy Brad over here. I can start a fire. No, so he told me that, and and Kalina, my wife, and I, we were talking to him about experiences and things like that. And like I said, I did have that moment where I was like, man, holding hands in 5th grade, dude, damn. Like 5th grade me was like, what?
Oh,
Yeah.
You're like super cool,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, for sure.
But I will say this: my first experience with a thing, like a datey kind of thing, was 5th grade. But it was different. I was like, it didn't click with me, right? So I can still, as long as he slows down a little bit,
Yep.
I can still come out ahead. Because there is this dumb little part of me that's like, he better not until after I did. You know what I mean? Like that kind of
is
thing.
so funny.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I feel like for the most part of my adolescence and childhood,
Which is wrapping up pretty soon.
I was very, very bad at the girl stuff, at like attracting women, probably until my first girlfriend, with a big exception. When I was in kindergarten, I used to make out with my girlfriend. Like
She was 34.
she was
Same woman.
She was the girl who
Hasn't
she
aged.
initiated it, and she also suggested that we have sex under a blanket, which I was nervous and scared about. And didn't
Kindergarten?
understand. Kindergarten.
Immediately, I'm like, oh, something happened with that girl. You know what I mean?
You know, I have seen some posts pop up on Reddit over the years. I'm on like Ask Reddit, and people have kind of said like, and I've seen a lot of comments that are like, the old thinking was that something must have happened, but the new thinking is like sometimes kids just get curious at different points in time, for no reason.
In my experience, there was a brother and sister when I was a kid that now looking back, it's like so evident. Like, yeah, something happened.
Oh wow!
Because they were very forward about things, and like we were kindergarten kids, and my cousin and I, and like we just didn't know, and like it led us into nothing ever like crossed a boundary or anything like that, but just in a place where it was like, I look back at it now, I'm like, that's fucked. That's a real fucked up thing. And there was a sleepover, and the sisters stayed at my cousin's house because my cousin Jessie was a girl, and then the brother stayed at my house, and he tried to do stuff.
Wow.
And I was a kindergarten boy and had no idea what was happening. And I can't believe we're talking about this right now. I had a glowworm that I slept with.
Yes.
A glowworm little toy.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's like a stuffed animal, but the head is like hard plastic and it lights up.
Yes.
And I had one of those, and I hit him with the glowworm.
Yes.
And he stopped, and we were done, and that was all set. And it wasn't until years and years later where I was like, oh, that's what the situation was. And had I not done that,
Wow.
perhaps could have been same age molested.
Wow.
Wow.
And so the glowworm saved my innocent little boy body,
Your cherry.
my cherry, if you will.
I won't.
Thank you. But yeah, I can't believe I just talked about that. But it is, it's a weird thing. No, that's not what happened. When I was in 5th grade, an 8th grade girl asked me out on a date, and I said yes,
Of course.
because she lived at the end of my street and had a basketball hoop, and so we all would play there and use her basketball hoop. And she was a cool girl. I was in 5th grade and had no
Right.
like girls yet.
Yeah.
Right. It was like the beginning of 5th, and I was just like, what? I'm fucking playing with micro machines, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I called my penis back then. And now Hot Wheels, Matchbox,
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
What else?
I don't know.
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah, there you go.
No, but so she asked me
Gack.
Yeah.
bop it.
Yeah.
Twist it.
This is getting too weird. So she asked me out, and I said yes. And I went home and I told my mom, and like I think my mom cried, where she was just like, "Oh, it's happening! It's all happening."
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
We went to see. This is gonna date me. 5th grade. We went to see Free Willy at the movies.
Oh, that's a sexy movie as a 5th grader.
As a 5th grader, hell, it's so wet.
Yeah.
It's glistening.
Never seen
There's
it.
a lot of shine to it.
You never
Yeah.
saw Free Willy?
Yeah, I wasn't
You were
allowed to
against it.
because of how wet it was. No,
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't see it.
You wanted to see Keep Willy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to it, and I remember this is like a distinct memory for me. And I told Finn all of this, like
Yep.
when we were all talking about our experiences at that point. So we went to Free Willy. Her mom drove us there, and I was in 5th grade and had no idea what I was doing. And I was like, "Got to talk about something, right? Got to talk about something." And I, at that point, watched all of those like special effects shows. Every once in a while, there would be a show that showed you like behind the scenes special effects of movies.
Yeah.
And there was one for Free Willy, and they were talking about the animatronic that they used in unison with a live whale,
Right.
a live orca. And so I brought that up, and after the date, she said that I talked too much during the movie about when it was the animatronic and when it was the real whale. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," you know. But now I look back, I'm like, what else was I gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, what else? A 5th grader at their first date, and they're watching this thing. What? That's the robot whale. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
What was I gonna do in that point?
No, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have that problem, by the way. I'm still watching movies.
Well, you keep taking girls to Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
and
I'll seriously watch a movie with like my girlfriend, and be watching it, and I'll pause it to tell her something, and I can just see her eyes like start to roll before I even say anything.
a similar thing happens with me, like, because I have the remote, and like we'll be watching a show, because in our household, in the Harrington house,
Yeah.
we don't have cable. We do some streamers, but we watch a lot of like UK stuff, and I download.
Yeah.
I download things. I have a setup so I can download that stuff, put it on a hard drive, and we can watch it on TV. And it's how we make things work. So naturally, I end up with the remote because it goes into the player, all that stuff. So I'll hit pause to say something to Kalina. And then when she's saying something to me, sometimes I don't hit pause if it's just a quick thing.
Yeah.
But if I know we're going to say it's a pause.
Yeah.
But then she'll start saying something to me. And if I sense this is a longer statement,
Yeah.
I will hit pause.
Yeah.
Me hitting pause is like me going, "You're just going to keep going on and on, aren't you?" It gets fed that way. Like she reacts as if, so when I
That's
pause,
funny.
she eye rolls. But if she starts to say something and I pause, to be respectful.
Right.
Like, let me give you my attention and we won't miss what's happening in the movie. She takes it as me going, "Hold on. All right. What? What?"
I mean, you do.
Yeah, the cinematography's great.
You
Let
do
me go back to
sigh
it.
and roll your eyes when you pause, though.
That's just because I'm so into the
Yes,
movie.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll do it, and I noticed her kind of like eye rolling and sighing and stuff, and I go, "Do you like my little facts? Like, do you like them?" And she went, "When there's not too much going on and we're getting some exposition, she's like a little fact here and there, but usually you'll interrupt the flow of a good story just to tell me something." And I get it. I try to keep
She
the
listens
facts.
to the podcast, right?
Yeah.
I think so, probably.
Yeah. We all are good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I will say, I think there's an art to interjecting a quick thing in a movie. It's like you cut. It's like a big scene happens. This happens. All right, we're gonna go, and it shows like an exterior shot. That's when you go like, you know Scarlett Johansson is related to blah, 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 blah. You say a quick thing. I can't stand when people just like talk during the middle of dialogue in a movie.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I think I saw a movie with this guy, and I'm just like, are you crazy? I'm like, I don't know what they're saying. Now I don't know why they're going to Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Wait, why'd you pick that? A movie you already know, like, front to back. Well, now I'm so confused.
I thought about it. That's why I looked to the side. As soon as I said it, I'm like, that was the worst movie to pick.
I don't even know why Jeff Goldblum is here. Why is he's not a scientist? I don't know what he's doing. He's sweaty. That's all I know. He's so sweaty.
Yeah, exactly. We were just watching the SNL doc. We were talking about it beforehand.
Yeah.
And I kept pausing it to talk to her about like SNL things, and I'm just like, because I've taken in so much media over the years of like, I read the SNL book.
Yeah.
I listened to all these podcasts by different people, watched so many documentaries, so I kept giving Natalie facts, and I could tell she was donezo.
It's tough. I feel like there's a version, like we need another word that isn't mansplaining.
Yeah.
That's different. There's a condescension in mansplaining. Right. This is different. This is coming from a level of like, hey, did you know that this?
I know.
That's not mansplaining. It's pathetic, right?
We think we're enhancing the experience somehow.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Or it's just to point out, like, I think this performance is great. You know what I mean? I think this is an amazing performance or something, whatever it is.
Exactly.
But I wish we had two remotes because I feel like I'll pause when I know I'm going to say something that, I don't want to distract.
Exactly.
But I swear, when I hit pause because it's a longer thing from her, it really, she is taking it as me going, fine, let me hit pause. What do you have to say? Yeah, it's a real conundrum. Brad's yawning right now.
I'm struggling. Unrelated to the conversation, just physically.
Oh.
Also, I'm trying to think if I have stories that are similar. Nope. My cat has no problems with when I tell her facts.
Well, you often catsplain.
Yes.
You've been on some dates, though, where you watch some movies and TV shows?
I know, I keep my mouth shut.
Really?
Yeah, what if they try to kiss me?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Or what if they realize you're there?
Yes.
I will say, so...
Just sit real quiet, real still.
What if they realize they're there? That just hit me.
And I'm in the chair costume.
So, the thing you just said about Kalina thinking that...
Yeah.
I will say, on the other side of that, when I'm with people that talk during movies in a way that is not valuable, like when I talk.
I get it.
When they start to talk, I do sometimes do a real big, what was that?
Yeah.
I have done that to
I was
indicate.
just saying, I got to text my aunt is in the hospital. And you're like, oh.
I'm like, all right, and I rewind. I go, I guess I have to rewind. I'll say stuff like that.
Hang on, I missed why Jeff Goldblum's in Jurassic Park. It's weird because we're talking about. We watched the movie Dead Silence, the puppet movie. I think
It's
ventriloquist dummy.
It's from the director of Saw, and it was a movie about a dummy.
It
was almost like
watched
the Goosebumps story.
like on Halloween 2009 or something, and we all talked through that entire movie, and it was one of the best movie experiences I've ever had.
There are certain things you can absolutely do that with.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
We're making our own jokes. We're tagging there. You know.
Schlocky horror is probably the number one.
Schlocky horror, anything.
The Schlocky Horror Picture Show.
Anything dealing with like a historical atrocity.
Yeah.
That's
Go
fun.
for it.
By the way,
Hotel Rwanda. Chat.
Side note.
That was a joke.
That's just a funny little side note for that. We watched that movie in 2009 on Halloween, like Brad said. My mom, for some reason, at the time, we was living with my parents. She took a nap in the room above ours, and she said she heard the music from the movie the whole time, and it gave her insane nightmares the whole night, which is so funny. She goes, what were you watching last night? It's like a movie about a killer doll. She's like, oh, no wonder. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I had nightmares all night from the music.
That's amazing.
Which is so funny. Yeah. I think it depends on the movie. With the SNL docs, it's really interesting because it's just like, I care about what they're doing so much.
Sure,
so I think it's even harder
course.
for me to shut up as opposed to like a narrative story. You know what I mean? It's different.
No, there needs to be another word for it, not mansplaining. I think it's very. I do think it's a male thing, mostly.
Probably, yes.
But I think it comes from a different place. You know what I mean?
I know. I hate to just put this out there, but is it like film splaining? Is it behind the scenes? Is it?
I don't know.
Like I know
It feels very boyfriendy. Even
Yeah.
though I've been married for 15 years, it feels like like the word itself would be something to do with boyfriend.
Boy-splaining.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, it is
Boyf. Ugh.
it
Yeah,
is a
it's
dude
gross.
thing for
Yeah.
sure.
Speaking of Finn, like watching stuff.
Yeah.
This has been going on, and this is new. It's all new territory now. My son's 10 years old. He's like developing these tastes. He's out there holding all these broads' hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just one.
I
broad.
make him wash his hands.
Wash
when
your
he comes
hands.
home.
Oh,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know what there that's been.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you hold hands with her, you're holding hands with every guy that's ever held her hand.
Yeah. It's nice that my youth pastor made it to the podcast today.
Oh, which is why I say keep them in your pockets. Gloves. This is how you put them on. Here are 5 bananas, and I'm going to show you how to put these gloves.
Keep going with this bit. This
Oh.
is great.
There were not gloves or bananas at Christian Fellowship Church. It was cut your hand off.
And if you have that thought, you got to get in your brain and find whatever that is and kill it. Kill it now.
Rip it out.
So put it inside a Bible and slam it shut quick. Not your penis, because then you'll develop a weird kink.
Oh, that explains why I developed that weird kink.
Oh no!
Yeah.
And that's why you don't have any bookmarks. I
Well,
know.
I have one bookmark.
It does have a tassel.
Yes.
So he started watching. I don't even know how it came up. I think we were just like he wanted to watch something, and I got to a point where I was like, I can't watch another episode of whatever that is, right? And so we tried Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay.
Original or new?
Original.
Good.
He's not into like the weird
Drama
that show is. What missed the mark in such a huge way.
Yeah.
Amazing flop. Amazing.
Yeah, it's a very strange decision to go in that direction.
It's crazy. I talked about that with Brian Bowden on an old Ray Harrington Must content. And we created this whole thing about like the drama version of that show.
Yeah.
And then doing it with other things.
Yeah.
Family Matters. That's what we do.
Yeah.
If there's a Fresh Prince that's a drama, you have to have Family Matters that's a drama.
Yeah.
And like the whole Stefan Urkel plot line is insane.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And you know when
That's funny.
Yeah, and he shoots somebody. He clearly kills someone, right?
Yeah.
So Steve Urkel can say with like huge thriller music happening, he go, oh my god, and he goes to the bathroom, he throws up, and he looks into the mirror, and he's like, did I do that? Right?
Yeah, that's great.
Anyway,
Yeah.
he started watching Fresh Prince.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
He fucking loves
Yeah.
Fresh Prince.
That's good.
It's crazy.
Oh, that cool guy Carlton and his ne'er-do-well cousin Will.
And that real just like sees life his own way, lives on the edge guy. What's his name? Jeff?
Yes.
Jeffrey,
Yeah,
something like that.
Something like that.
He always has gloves on. No, he loves the show. He's burning through this thing.
Yeah.
We're at the end of season 2 in like 2 weeks. Like
Wow.
he loves watching this show. There is a weird thing here where I also know that the show will fall off at some point.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I was looking up stuff, and Will Smith has even said, people ask like, when do you think the show jumped the shark? Right? Like anybody that has a long running sitcom jumping the shark, when was yours? And Will Smith said, I know when it happened. I knew it when we made the episode.
Wow.
It was an episode where Carlton gets a gun. Like Will gets shot in a mugging.
Yeah.
And then Carlton buys a gun. And he's like, that's the episode where
Really?
it was over.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That is really interesting. That doesn't seem too bad, though. You know what I mean?
No, I think it was that's like the signifier of when the show got stale for like what they were going to write. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
It is weird to watch this early 90s sitcom with him.
Yeah.
Sometimes references, I have to lean over. I don't pause for it. I'll just say it quick and be like, this is right. We in a previous episode we mentioned Milli Vanilli.
Yep.
I had to say Milli Vanilli was a duo that were singers, and they got caught lip syncing, and I just had to say it really quick so he got it.
Yeah.
But it is so weird.
I would love to hear like, yeah, so Free Willy is a movie about the and you're watching for 2 seconds, you pause it again, and you're like, It's crazy. I mean, they had to use this animatronic half the time. And he does the high roll thing the whole time.
It's like, wait. All right. So Free Willy and Milli Vanilli never did a project together, but if they did, can you imagine what it would be called?
That's good.
With Nelly.
That's fun though.
Yeah, it is. It is fun, but there is this element to it where I'm watching it. I'm really enjoying it. I will say, man, if you go back and start season 1, funny. Like still now as an adult, like there's some really good jokes there. It does get like now we're at the end of season 2. Like there's episodes where you're like, this is straight up early '90s sitcom territory, right?
Yeah.
You know, this friend came to visit, and now this whole thing's happening.
Yeah.
But it's still really fun. But there's this feeling of like, when do I have to? When does Finn find out what Will Smith's up to these days?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Because he's like, this guy's the coolest fucking guy in the world. He's awesome. I love this guy. And I'm like, yeah, he's awesome.
I will say, like, Will Smith has a lot of cool stuff under his belt. It's going to take him a while to get to the slap.
No, I get it. Yeah, that's the thing.
It's going to be a while.
Eventually that happens.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, maybe is it possible that it takes Finn long enough? He's checking out what? Let's see, Independence Day, Bad Boys.
Yep.
I mean, eventually, all these things.
6 Degrees of Separation.
Yep. 7 pounds. So is it eventually like when he catches
He has
up?
seen Bagger Vance and he loves it.
I was going to say what? So when he eventually gets there, is it possible that the slap is brushed under the rug?
Yeah.
I mean, if we get what we've been after, absolutely.
Yeah.
If we can finally sweep the stupid thing under the no, that's a bit.
Well,
but yeah, no, I don't know. Probably.
I mean, I think. Well, what would it take to wipe away the memory of the slap? Would Will Smith have to come out next year with like the biggest movie of the year?
Oh, this is everything that his publicists are asking.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
agent is asking this. Like, what does Will have to do to make the slap go away?
Yeah.
So Bad Boys 4 was successful in the box office. I didn't love it, but it was successful. That's just like another action movie. If he comes out with the equivalent of like the blockbuster of the summer next year,
Yep.
does the slap go away?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's so difficult to ask the question of like, when does Hollywood itself go, you're all right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
that does happen.
Yeah.
For sure.
But seemingly for such varied reasons.
Right.
There is
Absolutely.
never like a, this happens, so now you're cool. I will say, watching the show and seeing this extremely magnetic, charismatic, fun
the
guy
best.
who's
Yeah.
just nailing it and just a star right on the screen. And I'm talking about Uncle Phil, of course.
Yes.
The Shredder.
Yeah.
By the way, Uncle Phil, like, holy
Excellent.
shit.
Yeah.
He is the secret component to that show. Without him, I don't think you have that show.
Yeah.
He's the best.
He brings the heart.
Yeah.
He has like the authority in the episodes, you know,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Fantastic. I can't believe we're relitigating Fresh Prince right now.
He really was the Shredder. Do you know that?
Yeah.
He's
Absolutely.
the Shredder. And there's a cut scene that was on the behind the scenes of Family Matters where someone knocks on the door and it's supposed to be someone
That's
else.
right.
And it's Uncle Phil
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
hi to Carl Winslow. And
Yeah.
Carl Winslow like dies. Like he loves it.
It's so fun. And,
Yeah.
he's really funny. But yeah, I love it. No, that cast is spectacular. It's a really fun show.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about this and seeing this, you know, charismatic figure and where we are now. And this is going to sound so shitty. And I'm so sorry. I apologize in advance, viewer, listener. I think it's
And Bagger
Jada.
Vance.
I think it's Jada. I think Jada fucked him up.
Of course.
I
Of
think
course
Jada
it is.
fucked him up.
Of
but
course
good.
it is.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, of course it is. Absolutely. He was in a bizarre place. I mean, they're both. You got to be weird to let all this stuff happen
Sure.
as well.
I think they are both weird people
Yeah.
that have produced weird people.
Yes.
That vibrate at such a frequency that when they get pushed together, the weird explodes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree.
Because they're weird in a way you don't expect.
Right.
There's regular, like, weird in that kind of couple, but not. This is different. This is like a different. I don't know what it is.
Hey, everybody, we just wanted to pause this episode real quick to say thank you very much to our sponsor, Narragansett Beer. Narragansett Beer is a delicious beer. Grab it wherever you grab alcohol, at like a store. I kind of fell to the...
You said that like you just walked in the room. Grab it where you grab alcohol.
Yeah. And if they don't have it, request that Narragansett Beer. Now, Narragansett wants us to come up with some maybe like catchphrases or things that people could remember from like a commercial.
Okay, what about what you just did?
That was
Grab
pretty-
it wherever you grab
Yeah.
alcohol.
I would say like a scared stammer.
yeah.
So,
well, I
by the
think,
way, that's like my go-to move.
don't they already have like Hi Neighbor or
Yep.
Grab a Gansett or things
Have
They
like
a
had that.
Have
But they
a
want a
Gansett,
new one.
yeah.
They want us to put our heads together and come up with a new
Oh, okay,
one.
yeah.
Okay.
I got three
Let's
that I came
mind
up
meld.
with. You tell me.
Let's pool our noodles.
All right,
Yeah.
ready? So this is like if you see a Narragansett Beer, you go, ew, gross. Wait, no, I like this. Do you like? What do you think about that one?
I don't know.
Because he ends with liking it.
I don't
you
know.
noticed.
I feel that feels more to me like someone stumbling upon any one of our like dating profiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Ew,
well-
great. Oh wait, no, I like that.
Yeah.
I'll say this: the first half sounds like they found mine.
Or maybe it's like a ew, gross. Swipe.
Yeah.
Oh, now I like
There we
that.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one's not the
Okay.
best. I
Yeah,
guess,
that's all right.
That's okay.
all right.
That's
Yeah.
one out
Yeah,
of three.
we're
I got two
brainstorming.
more.
Anything can happen.
So, Bing Bang Bansett. I'm having a Gansett.
Is Bansett?
Bansett is a thing that people are always saying. You know, the Bing Bang Bansett.
I thought you said Manson,
okay.
and that made me think of Charles Manson.
I thought of Shirley Manson from the band Garbage.
maybe Carl's
Now I'm
Manson.
thinking about Charles Manson singing in Garbage.
That's
Stupid girl. Yeah.
Wow.
Charles Manson. Gansett could be
It's
a
close.
mascot. I don't
It's
know.
close.
Yeah.
So if one,
We just got to get rid of that swastika on his face.
Ah.
That's
you know,
the-
and put the Gansett logo there.
Ooh.
And I got-
covering it up.
I got-
Not covering it up, removing it.
Yes. Changing the way he thinks and acts.
Yes.
and I got one more. So this is like you have the hero shot of like go, and then the person says it.
Okay.
You know.
Yep.
It's like that. It goes go. Ouch, my insides. That's Gansett for you.
I don't know about the ouch my insides part. Again,
Yeah.
just like the first one.
I mean, oh, I'm getting riled up. You know what I mean?
Well, is that
Okay.
is that the
Surprises
message you
a
want to
little bit?
send?
Yeah, you're getting. Yeah, I think.
Well, what
so.
if they don't really say it as much as they just sort of go, "Ugh," like that? What if they hold their stomach and just kind of go, oh, and immediately they're sweating?
I think that's good.
Okay.
I'm gonna pitch one where it's hero shot glug glug glug, and then it's oh my Gansett.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That isn't
Yeah.
bad. That
That's
isn't bad.
good.
What if you get the hero shot, glug glug glug?
Yeah.
They turn around, walk away, big load in the back of the pants. Right?
Okay. What's the
And then
message we're
it's-
sending there?
Fill your pants if you want a Gansett.
Oh,
that's not-
sort of rhyme. Yeah.
Okay.
you know what I
that's
mean?
not
It's so
bad.
good you're going to shit your pants.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
Is that something?
A lot of options here.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
I think Funbearable listener viewers would be psyched about.
Yeah, I think you just pick whichever one resonated with you,
Yes.
and stick with that, and then go to their website, which is,
NarragansettBeer.com.
or hit up their social medias, Gansett Beer on pretty much all of the socials.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you very
And
much,
drink it, and
Narragansett.
it won't do that stuff.
No, we're just having
Probably.
fun. We're being silly boys.
Get off our fucking backs.
We'll go back to the episode where we're going to be serious boys.
I think that sometimes I think about this a lot, especially with younger superstars. When things are really good and you have a ton of money and you kind of have no limits on what you want, like people at the level of Will Smith don't have, if they want to get into drugs, they get into drugs. They do whatever they want. And I think what happens is when you have this,
Only if Jada says it's okay.
well, when you have this level of like access,
Yeah.
you need more and more things, which is why I think, from my point of view, as like a dumb outsider, that their relationship got so weird, and she's dating the son's friend, and they're doing a show about it. Like they did like a talk show about how
Yeah.
she was cheating on him, right?
Yeah, something
The
like
Yeah,
red
there was
table
some
or
weird
something like
stuff.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was humiliating, I would imagine. And I think when you get to that level and all these weird things are happening and you're experimenting in these different ways to get new thrills or new highs or whatever you want to call it, and who knows exactly the mechanics of that relationship behind the scenes, but I do think that's where that all went astray and it led to that moment. And I do think that Will Smith is probably like a top 5 of all time Hollywood star. I think so. I think
of all time.
do you think Hanks is up there?
Hanks is definitely up there, but like I mean, we have to put time into it. We have to put time into it because you can't say like Will Smith is bigger than Clark Gable. You know what I mean, or something like that. Huge silver screen era kind of people. That's like a different world.
Yeah,
but modern.
Yeah. Let's say past 40 years or something.
Sure, yeah.
I just think that Will Smith is. I just think about the idea of the rap that he did, which was like very family friendly for the most part, and kind of like accepted, as well as the comedy as he did, as well as the action movies he did. It's like and drama. The amount of wins that guy has across the board, it's astounding.
Oh, it is. It's
truly
absolutely
astounding.
No, and it's a shame that it's now like sort of punchliney. You know what I mean?
I know.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what the turnaround is, and I also don't know if behind the scenes like it's deserved. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I truly have no idea. He's a guy where I'm like, him and Jada remind me of like a Tom Cruise, where it's just like you're a massive superstar.
Yes.
And I don't understand your life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't get it, but you make good stuff.
Yes.
I have no fucking clue how you operate. But good for you, I guess, but also maybe stop. I don't know.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Man, can you imagine a movie with the two of them?
Oh,
Electric.
I don't want to watch it, but I want to watch it get made. That's what I want. Days of just all crew sitting there waiting because there's a weird power play happening about who's going to leave their trailer first.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're such big powerhouses, then it becomes like, but if Tom shows up first, he's waiting for Will, therefore Will is the bigger star. Yeah. But if Will shows up first and he's waiting for Tom, then Tom's the bigger star.
Right.
And it turns into...
Oh, but Tom's just there early because he cares about his craft. So the next day, Will gets there earlier than Tom, and
they're both doing dead-eyed laughs to each other.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, no.
I don't think they know a different way to laugh.
That's true.
You know who else is like a really crazy talent in different ways across the board that maybe doesn't hit us as much because he started so young is Travolta. Like,
oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're 12 in 1996, 95, 94.
Yeah,
whatever.
he had his career did that, the huge, then the dip, then the back,
And it's like Saturday Night Fever is like legit in terms of like an influential movie. And then Welcome Back, Kotter is like comedy, and then he comes back kind of as an action star and then goes into drama and still does comedy. He's kind of, man, it's just funny. Just thinking about Tom Hanks and Will Smith and like who's at the top of that.
Well, here's the part too, is like Travolta is deeply weird as well.
Exactly.
And I know Tom and Travolta are both Scientologists.
Yes.
I was just
Is Will a Scientologist?
I thought he was.
I thought he was too.
Yeah.
I thought he was too.
Is this explaining all of the weird for us?
This is what I'm thinking.
Well,
exactly
which came first?
The weird or the Scientology?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was Scientology. Scientology came first. Yeah. You know why? Because a deeply weird man created it.
Yes.
He literally went, I'm going to make a religion. And people were like, all right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Here, hold these two pipes and tell me your secrets. Yeah. Fair enough. This guy's above board, all right?
Yeah.
He made his own navy.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah. He wrote a bunch of science fiction novels, was getting taxed on them, and then thought, how can I not get taxed?
and said once the way like the biggest way to like be rich or whatever is start a religion. He said something like that. And it is wild.
Yeah.
Oh, the story of Scientology is insane.
Oh, yeah.
And like I often wonder sometimes how people can have the cognitive dissonance of like being deeply religious, but then also something else that goes like completely against it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder those things, but then I also recognize in myself that I can understand how that can happen because I adore the Mission Impossible movies. Mm-hmm. I love those movies.
Yep.
I love that Tom Cruise is making those movies. Yep. I want more, and I'm happy that he's doing it, but I also recognize like, pretty problematic. You know what I mean? Pretty problematic.
Well, guess what I just watched? Much based on your specific recommendation, along with other people. Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was in Minnesota with Natalie, and I was like, she was like, "Oh, let's watch something." And I said, "What kind of thing you want to watch?" She goes, "I'm thinking about like an action movie." And I'm like,
I want an action movie, and you were like, I want to watch Groundhog Day.
We put them into a thing. Well, I said, you know what action movie I've downloaded? I've had it for years. Not only have I heard, as Ray said, it's great, but I've seen it like across the board. People are like, that movie's great. That movie's great.
Yeah.
They changed the name last minute, and so that affected the marketing. I was like, let's watch it. And she goes, I don't like Tom Cruise. We watched the trailer. She goes, I don't like Tom Cruise, but I like the idea of this. Let's give it a shot. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And the whole time, I'm like, man, it is like people are like, I don't like Tom Cruise, but Mission Impossible is so good. I don't like Tom Cruise, but blank is so good. And I'm like, that's weird that he has this thing where he's just kind of like insanely unlikable in this weird way. But he's not a bad actor.
No, he's there's a lot there. And I also think he's a guy, from what I've heard, is like, he is very Tom Cruise about things, but that also means like when he talks to you, he's talking to you and you alone, and there's a charisma there, right? And he's on that thing, and he's like, I want to do that, you know, like that kind of thing. And I think that goes a long way too.
Me too.
It's difficult because it's like, you know, Tom Cruise's like insane level of I want to achieve, like, he's such a ambition person.
Yes.
I can't help but root for that guy in film, right? Making movies when it is so fucking crazy hard, especially now. Mm-hmm. And he's doing it essentially outside of the larger system.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is crazy,
Yes.
right? Like the whole Mission Impossible, is, it is not Marvel. It is not Star Wars. It is not this huge IP. It was a pre-existing thing.
Yep.
But it really is him. And it's his production company that's making these movies.
Yes.
So it is wild where it's like, I mean, I want this guy to succeed,
I know.
but I also have to recognize these other things. And I think it's difficult because I can't point at it and say Tom Cruise was a piece of shit to this person.
Right.
Exactly.
He did this inappropriate thing here.
Yeah.
It's he's weird.
You're like, yes.
And he's just best friends with a guy who is genuinely a bad person.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's really hard. I don't know.
Exactly. It's like, well, we've heard that he's kind of controlling.
Yeah.
Like, that's a weird thing to hang a hat on and be like, nah, we can't work with this guy.
Yeah, the guy who runs the production company of the movie is controlling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like he jumped on a couch weird one time.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
I mean, that whole period of time is fucking weird.
weird.
It is very weird.
It's so funny, too, because I was telling my mom about the movie right afterwards, and she's like, I'll watch it. I don't like that Tom Cruise. I'm like, does everyone in the world feel this way?
Honestly, I think I would be weirded out if somebody was like, I love Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
I mean, that happened back in the day, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think if we're talking 1999 Tom Cruise, like, people are 100% in.
But it's so hard to also, like, I hold all of that, and then I hold the idea of, like, his performance in oh, my God, what is Tropic Thunder?
Yep.
You know, it's a crazy performance. It's
great.
so big, but he got it, and he did the thing.
And it was his idea completely. That character didn't exist.
This is like
Right?
the sense of humor and the rumor. I believe it's semi-accurate. A lot of it was based on Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did hear that. Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, it's so funny to think about this because I don't know why this always struck me. I always looked so forward to the MTV Movie Awards.
Yeah.
Because all these comedians would get together and do bits.
Yeah,
And they had a whole big bit about Ben Stiller pretending to be Tom Cruise's stunt double.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is where the connection came that eventually led to Tropic Thunder. And I remember being so excited for those, seeing him, and then when he kind of got pulled into Tropic Thunder, it does make you respect him more as like an intelligent person.
Yeah.
To be able to parody that world in that way.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
It's tricky. I'm so happy you brought up the MTV Awards. We're pivoting a little here.
Yeah.
But it's in that territory. I was just thinking about this. I don't even know why this came up in my head. I was thinking about that period of time, like the early 2000s. There was a weird thing going on, and I thought about it because of the Best Kiss MTV Movie Award.
Okay.
That they would give out.
Yes.
And I remember the year that Cruel Intentions came out.
Oh,
And that kiss, Sarah Michelle Gellar and
Bella Thorne. No,
I
what's her
don't
name?
know. I don't know.
It was
I don't
it was
remember.
it was the woman that they were manipulating in Cruel Intentions.
Yeah.
Right.
Ryan Felipe and this woman.
But well, so there was this kiss between the two
Right.
women, and I was in high school, and it was so important to me.
Oh my God.
that kiss was so important to me.
Oh my God,
This
I was
horny movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie, you're just like, oh, it's a horny movie,
Oh yeah.
and you're like, that's great news.
You're like-
I'm very horny.
And aren't you like, you're being like, there are movies that are mostly horny, like that aren't porn.
So am I.
They're actual movies.
I'm mostly horny.
You want to hear the even bigger, hornier movie that I think was part of this whole thing?
Start with a W.
Absolutely, baby. WT, my friend.
Yeah.
Kevin's Bacon all the way. Wild Things.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Wild
I know
Things
what
was
you
very
mean.
important. It is funny, like it was, and I remember the MTV Movie Awards happening that year, and like the best kiss category came up, and it was genuinely in my like puberty boy heart where I was
Oh.
like, they earned it, they deserve it, and they should win that award. They are clearly the winners,
Oh,
right?
I
Like it was
completely
so
agree.
funny. It was really a moment, and then I thought about that era, and like we'll never get it again because. Now I'm gonna turn old man shakes fist at cloud,
Yep.
right? Now it's too easy to see fucking anything.
Yeah, that's right.
All the porn is there. There's other things that are super porny.
Yes.
It's just all there, right? We went from adolescent boys seeing horny stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's adolescent boys being like desensitized to porny stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's just too far. There was a period. And I don't know if you remember this period, Brad. This might have been when you were at
And then Runchbringer.
yeah, you did the Rumspringa. I don't know, maybe. So I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
But there was a period of time. Cruel Intentions,
Yes.
Wild Things
Yep.
was
Yes.
super important. Tattoo, the like music group,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
two lesbian like
Yep.
Eastern European girls. That were like supposedly dating in the thing.
Yeah.
All the things she said, all the it
Yeah.
was that was important.
Yeah.
Like
Barbed Wire. Pam
barbed
Anderson.
wire was super important. Oh no, I'm speaking specifically of like two girls kissing.
Oh, I see.
There was an era
I completely
where
agree with
two
this.
girls kissing. Wild Things, Cruel Intentions,
Yep.
Tattoo,
Yeah.
and then at the MTV Music Awards
Yeah.
when Britney Spears and
Oh.
Madonna kissed.
Oh, yeah.
it was a whole thing. If that happened now, people would be like, "Yeah, all right,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, whatever." But I do remember, and I think there's this really funny era that we were at the right age for. Like I said a moment ago, oh, that movie's super horny.
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Let's go.
Yep.
I will say, I think you're 100% right about the idea that its access is so different that it's changed it.
Yeah.
When I went to see The Substance in theaters with Rupert, the porniness of that movie still shocked us in the movie theater with how much it was overt. So I think that
Well, it was gratuitous because they were
Yeah.
intentionally making a point about gratuitous stuff. Yeah.
I completely agree, and I don't think it's as effective as it was back then. But I still think when you see that level of like something in a movie, you're still like, oh my goodness. I think
Sure.
there's still a level of
Yeah.
that. The
Yeah,
new
yeah,
Nicole
yeah.
Kidman movies like that, right?
Right. But there was this period of time where truly they were like, hey, horny teen boys.
For sure.
Look at all the
Yeah.
things we have for you. Look at all of these films for you horny teen boys.
I think you're right. It's funny. It's funny too because I wonder, did the teen sex comedies dabble in that a little bit?
Yeah. It was a
think so.
huge deal. American Pie. It was
Yeah.
a huge deal.
Yeah.
Where they had that what was her name? The
Shannon-
actress? Oh yeah, it
Shannon
was
Elizabeth.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Yes.
that was like an important thing. There really was a very very specific era
Yeah.
of just horny teen boy stuff.
Yeah. And we were the right age for it.
Yep,
We're lucky boys.
we are lucky boys in that regard.
Yeah, I'd say 66% of us are lucky boys.
Well, there was
30
also that. I mean, how many times? What joke do we want to do?
Right,
now?
right.
You know,
Well, what year were you 15?
For me, like what really gets
it's
me
easy
going.
to remember because 15 is the same on the calendar as well.
Yes.
Yeah, right,
What gets me excited is when a house falls down around someone and almost hits them. That to me That hit me at the right age.
Well, I remember you saying it was really confusing in your puberty years when it went to color.
Yes.
And you were like, too much.
I was like, I already adapted to talking.
Oh.
Well, what year were you 15?
93.
Jurassic Park. Lion
Ooh, it
King.
was fun. You shut down for a second. Yeah.
Well, I don't think I have a metric for like horny stuff at that time. I'm thinking of like,
Yeah.
It's weird because
Because
I don't remember either.
I was so young that like to me, all I can probably remember is like blockbuster stuff from that time point, the time period, which is Lion King, Jurassic Park. Probably Free Willy was around 95, I would think.
If I was in 10, just that would have been 93.
Okay, so 93 then. Okay.
Yeah.
No horny movies at that time?
I'm sure there were. I just don't like
Teen sex comedies in early 90s? Not
yeah,
really?
no, I'm sure there were, but it
80s.
wasn't a thing that I was
Yeah.
seeking out.
No, that's fair.
I don't know if I remember ones from early 90s though for like teen sex comedies.
I'm sure they were there too. I mean, there was a period of time where there was just a ton of like lose your virginity comedies.
Yeah.
Losing It was literally one of them. Porky's. There was a period of like late 80s where what we're talking about, like the horny, teen boy movies, were comedies and had jokes and stuff like that. But I think back to like an era way before us was like Porky's and stuff like that, where it's like it's grimier. You know what I mean?
Way
and it's a
grimier.
little too. I feel like the horny boys in American Pie, were they brought to the horny boys in Porky's, they'd be like, guys, what the fuck are you doing? Like, hold on.
Hold
on. This one guy wants to say a weird thing about a blowjob with a girl in the car. That's the level. You guys are drilling a hole in the bathroom. Although, to be fair,
They broadcast Shannon
I know.
Elizabeth masturbating against her will.
so that isn't good.
It's not good, but it feels. I mean, in Revenge of the Nerds, I believe one of the nerds tricked a girl into
That's
having
true.
sex with him against
Yeah.
her will.
Yeah.
Which to me is a lot worse than the voyeurism.
I would, against her will, she was unknowingly, she was doing that. She was sleeping with somebody that she was having sex with
Right.
somebody she thought was someone else, right?
Yeah.
So against her will is a different
Sure.
thing. Even though I don't know, why am I fucking? The nerds hired me.
Yeah.
I represent the nerds now.
Nerds advocate.
Nerds advocate here. I mean, if you watch the film, you can clearly see he earned it. It's so fucking weird. It's so weird and gross. I'm so sorry.
You know, the jocks are on top so much at the time. You know what
Let
I mean?
him be on top, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there also we're talking about like time differences
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
there's plenty of shit in the 80s movies, especially the early 80s, where you're like, that's just not okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So much of it.
Rupert has a great idea for a comedy because I constantly talk to people about like the comedy movies are going to return, and I'm really interested to see what that's going to be like.
Maybe.
Stavros Halkias made his own movie called
Yeah.
Let's Start a Cult. I don't know anything about it. I haven't watched it. I'm glad people are doing it. Mark Norman and Sam Morril are writing a movie that I think like has like some sort of interest. Rupert
Wasn't
has
that one about some geeky guys getting some kind of revenge?
Rupert has an idea for a comedy movie now called Revenge of the Jocks, where the nerds are on top. And I'm like, that's not bad. I think
Yeah.
that's a pretty cool idea. I think that
Yeah.
could be really funny. Because it is a thing, like the idea that nerds are way cooler now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff that you can point to that's way more mainstream. Like you think about things like comic books and like video games and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff that was nerdy before.
Right.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's a really fun idea.
Man,
I think.
I don't know. I think as a parent, as a father of a son,
Yeah.
there's a part of me, that's like I'm looking at a lot of this period of time from my own childhood and
Yeah.
growing up, my own adolescence, because Finn is entering it. And, it's this conversation started with Finn holding hands with a girl and
Yep.
me thinking about like, when did that happen for me? That kind of stuff. I do wish he could have a, early 2000s, late 90s horny movies for horny boys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me take that over again. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. The idea of stumbling over horny is disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, it just seems like you're too excited.
I'm too horny.
Yeah.
I'm too horny.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm too horny to finish my sentence.
Oh my God. Yeah, I do declare.
Yeah.
I apologize, madam. It simply seems that I am just too horny to finish this sentence. I shall shuck one quickly and return forthwith. Come, Jeremy, bring the lotions.
Yes.
I don't know who Jeremy is.
Well, he's your assistant.
He's his what do they call it? Like a not a manservant,
Butler.
but not a butler. There's another word, and it sounds like purse of some kind. Purser,
Purser.
maybe.
Purser.
The world will never know,
Yep.
and we
Yes.
won't, and we'll never find out, and nobody will ever correct it. I do wish he could go through a period where there is horny boys, horny movies.
Yeah.
Right. Am I starting a streaming network?
Yes.
It's funny because there are horny movies now, but they're not aimed
It's
at...
a different
Yeah.
thing. It
You're right.
really is. Yeah, because mainstream comedies have faded so much, so you're not going to get those. You're not going to get American Pie today,
Yeah.
right? You're not going to get fucking Weird Science. You're not going to get all of those types of movies.
Did they do any gender swapped horny movies yet? Did they make a Weird Science that was gender swapped?
No.
I think they were talking about it for a while.
They probably didn't because like the marketplace for comedy is like dried up.
Yeah, it's
you
tough.
know.
Yeah.
Is Euphoria a horny show? I've never watched it.
Oh,
Here's the problem: Euphoria is a horny show,
But not a comedy.
But it's not. It's definitely not a comedy,
Okay.
and it's not even really aimed at like people the age
Of
that's
the cast.
of the cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
All right.
aimed for older than that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tricky thing. Hey Hollywood, I don't want to ask this, but I'm gonna bring back the horny movies for horny boys.
can I?
So when my son gets horny, he's got somewhere to go.
Can I bring up an interesting thing I thought about that ties into this?
Sure.
Please.
So I think we can probably agree that one of the reasons that mainstream comedy has kind of suffered is because a lot of people in the world of stand-up comedy that years before might transition over have kind of realized that they can make a lot of money just doing exactly what they want with no overhead, which means
Yeah.
touring as a stand-up, doing your own podcast.
Movies shrank,
Yep.
Yep.
podcasts exploded,
Right.
and so you're just there.
And
And,
now you-
unfortunately, instead of seeing two girls kiss, they get fucking red-pilled and turned into neo-Nazis.
Well, I was going to say, like, so you have kind of like, the touring, the podcast, and then what I would consider podcast adjacent shows, which are like Kill Tony or whatever. Like the shows, Adam Ray's live tour is like crazy and all this stuff like that. Now that takes that accounts for a lot of the stand-up people doing their own thing.
Yeah.
But there's also this other camp of people that didn't do stand-up. And those are the people that I kind of equate with like SNL as performers. Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, Will Ferrell, people like Steve Carell. Steve Carell wasn't on SNL, he was on Daily Show, where they would be the people that are the stars of these comedies.
yeah.
So what happens? Do you think that they just do like streaming shows or something?
I think a lot of them have podcasts. I think a lot of
Yeah.
tons of them have podcasts for sure.
But it's funny because, like, I
isn't
don't-
that all of Comedy Bang Bang's business?
But when I think of like, yeah, I guess so. But I feel like when I think of like a stand-up, to me, going to a podcast and bullshitting with other stand-ups, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But when I think of a talent like Will Ferrell, I don't think of that as the best place to really fully explore
Sure.
what
Right.
he can do.
No, I agree. However, that's kind of where a lot of people are. Like Will Ferrell also had a podcast as the anchorman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I listen to
And-
every episode.
And I think there's a lot of people, it's definitely more West Coast because,
Yeah.
there's more sketch performance,
Mm-hmm.
improv people, film people, stuff like that. But like I love Comedy Bang Bang and all those people.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a ton of podcasts that are like that. One that I'm always talking about, Big Grande, Teacher's Lounge.
Right.
That's a bunch of improvisers and comedy actors doing character stuff, right? You brought up Dropout
Yep.
TV.
Yeah, Dropout TV.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a YouTube channel that's doing improv and little game show things
Yep.
and stuff like that. I love their interview thing with different things. I wish
Very important people.
I would love to
Vic
just
Michaelis.
do one of those.
Yeah.
It would be really fun. I think there's all these avenues where they can get found that way.
Yeah.
Or they do a fucking, a role-playing game, Dungeons and Dragons show, and then they can take it on tour, and it's massive.
Also on Dropout. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So there's a lot of avenues where that stuff can go. It's not like vehicle movies are like gone.
Well, what's interesting to me, and I hope that no one is offended by this, and I'm not offending anybody, but like, let's say you have people like Will Ferrell, Beck Bennett, Sarah Sherman, Taron Killam, people who do not do stand up. I like the idea of them doing podcasts and stuff like that. I think it's fun, but doesn't it feel not quite as fully formed?
Sure.
Or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a full use of something.
Yeah, because it's just one medium.
So it's like
and,
it's like if you see like the cast of Community or the cast of 30 Rock, the cast of 30 Rock, like even if those people did a podcast together, I don't see it as being as a place for them to
Right.
fully explore what they can do with all their potential.
Totally.
And so is it just like, well, now we're just in a place where that doesn't really happen as much?
Dude, this is one of my like real frustrations in the comedy industry.
Yeah.
Is because we are missing out on
Right.
tons of really fun stuff.
Yeah.
And because film and television are both terrified and are scrambling and going for the most, like, no, we did it because this proves it's okay to
Yeah.
do, right? Like that kind of thing. We're only getting kind of stale stuff mostly. I'm not saying everything.
No, yeah,
is,
of course.
But there's so few things that can become something, or even just thinking about like the like being a teenage boy and watching Adam Sandler movies and being into that
this is
and
what I'm
being
talking
excited,
about.
and that going on to inform further things. You know what I mean?
Right.
Absolutely.
Instead, we get what we've coined that phrase, like the corporate comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, your ensemble cast doing. How did we break it down? It has to be an ensemble cast. They have to be doing a relatable thing, and it has to get crazy by the end, and it has to have some kind of, oh my god, you just shot me. You just shot me. Like that kind of comedy. I'm thinking of like Game Night. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely, it's so funny. It's really frustrating because you brought up Sandler. And like I think of a movie like Billy Madison, which that budget was...
Not about a president, by the way.
right. Billy Madison, the budget was minuscule.
Yeah.
And it was Sandler and Hurley and like, they're just like figuring it out. And I was watching a video about it recently, and it's like a lot of stuff wasn't in the script, like the Stop Looking at Me Swan. And it was like, well, this is the stuff that makes him him.
Yeah.
That is just like a place for him to really explore the idea of the type of comedy he wants to do.
Sure.
Which sets the stage to do Happy Gilmore a little bit bigger.
This is what I'm saying. They could grow into something.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's such a... It's weird because I'm like, am I just used to that progression because that's how I grew up and that's how I look at all these talents from different, eras, even up to someone like Andy Samberg, who goes, Lonely Island, amazing. All the albums, amazing. All the like, I love a lot of the movie stuff he's done.
Yeah. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's all these different things that he's been able to really flourish as this person and do so much.
Yeah.
Am I just of a certain time that is done, or are we just in a low period and it's going to come back?
Right.
And these people from SNL are like, Beck Bennett is going to be able to go make his thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Me
I
too.
hope so. I think part of it is the idea of that's what I grew up with. However, I don't think that's an accurate portrayal, simply because you can look at the playing field and you can see, like, here's the level of movies at that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's the level of movies at this time. That's
Right.
drastically lower.
Yep.
There are
Exactly.
just less. I would love to see a Sarah Sherman
Right.
movie that's her voice and lets her explore whatever she's going to explore. That's cool.
Yeah.
Me too.
Give me that. I think, like, we're talking about an era where, SNL people,
Yeah.
it was like, it was understood that you would get a vehicle movie. right?
Yeah.
Like if somebody hits a certain level,
Yep.
they're gonna get a movie, right? For better or worse, some were like meh, some were great.
And I even appreciate some of the ones that weren't like crazy. Like Ladies Man, that's a funny comedy.
Yeah.
That's a funny comedy
Sure,
to watch.
sure.
Even if it doesn't create 100 Ladies Mans.
Right.
I'm glad Tim Meadows and the surrounding people got together and made this fun fucking thing.
But also, it goes to what you were saying earlier. Like, they get to take this step forward.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hey, this person that was on SNL, they're super funny. They had their character. We're going to put them in this movie. We're going to see what works here. That person now gets to experience, oh, this is how you make a movie.
Yes.
Okay, so I did it with this character.
yes.
Now let me try taking it a little further
Right.
in this other direction.
Yeah.
And that's fun. That's an exciting thing. Now now I feel like it's with SNL, if you hit big enough and you do it just at the right time when you're hot,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And new,
Yeah.
then if you're lucky, you get a streaming only movie.
Right.
And the movie is not great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very meddled with. It's very small.
Mid.
Yeah.
Y'all, it's mid.
And you know what sucks too? I just feel like, and this is my own personal thing, I feel like we have some veterans that are excellent.
Thank you for your service. You're talking about veteran listeners?
Of course.
Yeah.
Comedy veterans.
We aren't saying on which side.
like let's say Will Ferrell. I mean Adam Sandler for sure. Spade. Like all these different people from these times.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yes. That would be totally down to be like, oh, I'll be a side character.
Yeah.
With a lead that's younger because
Yeah.
I believe in this person. I want to do it.
But
Yeah.
that's also what happened then. Is like,
agree.
oh,
Yeah.
I'll do a cameo.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd, Tommy
Right.
Boy.
There's so many fun things, and it is a, I don't know. I worry sometimes that we often, our conversations come to this place
Yeah,
where
me
we're
too.
talking about like, it fucking sucks. Water's going away. We're all gonna die. Right?
I think all the SNL 50 stuff that has been so well produced. The actual show was great. The Radio City thing the night before, the music thing was great. The documentaries have been great. It's making me see all this talent in
Yeah.
this one place. And there so many of the best comedians of the past 50 years are united by this thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's a lot of what's next for this person when it comes to SNL.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're competing every week for the sketch. And it's like, wow, like Kristen Wiig, Kristen Wiig was like the darling.
Yeah.
She did great, and then she got to make Bridesmaids, which is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
and,
And
it's
then
like,
more importantly, did a bunch of other movies and gave us Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
I know, I gotta watch that. I gotta watch
It's
that.
so fucking funny.
I know.
It is what comedies like used to be.
Yes.
In the best way.
Yeah.
And it's like, can we get enough? Please give me more Barb and Star.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's so funny. It's really great. You'd love it. You'd love
Yeah,
it. You watch it with Natalie.
I will watch it with her.
Yeah.
She's the perfect person to watch that with. She's totally
Don't tell her, but Tom Cruise is in it.
okay. I won't say that.
He plays Barb.
and Star.
And Star. Yeah. It's a Jack and Jill
It's
situation.
well, let's not talk about that movie.
right.
If we're talking about fun comedies, we don't want to get there or mess with the Zohan. I wonder how that's aged with everything going on. An Israeli soldier who's a hairstylist. I wonder how that's doing.
It's just. I think all the talent in one place has really. It's almost made me feel inspired over the past few weeks because I'm seeing all these people work together in this great way.
Yeah,
and it's like
that's how I
man.
feel anytime a big famous person has a televised funeral.
Yeah,
You know? Oh no, is that what this is?
Yes.
Is SNL 50 a big famous funeral?
It's a funeral for comedy.
It
Yeah.
kind of is. Yeah, but no, it's a weird place. It's tough because I think the landscape has created a kind of desert because it's become so. No. The big studios have the money to put something out, but they're only going to put it out if it's a fucking guarantee.
Exactly.
And so we're only going to get extremely expensive comedies that are extremely mid-level, just like here's the generic thing, because that's safe. And there's not going to be any money for anyone making a lower budget thing. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
But I think that's where comedy lives, and so we're not gonna see it as much. I think our hope is for like indie stuff, but I don't know how much is there. We are left to the devices of we have to hope that the funny person that has the clout and the success and the money to back it up wants to make this movie. Does that
Yes.
make sense?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think we're going there. Like I mentioned, Stavros made that movie, and I
Yeah,
think that
yeah.
was just him, kind of like making it happen,
Yeah.
which is really cool. I'm not sure about Mark and Sam's movie. I got to talk to him more about it because they kind of announced it on social media. So like,
But I mean, like the Barb and Star movie, that happened because they wanted to make that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thankfully, Kristen Wiig was big enough that she could trade on that a little bit and had some background with Bridesmaids and things like that, where they could essentially take it and pitch it, and they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's funny too because like I see these movies coming out. Like I saw Love Hurts, Companion, and Hard Eyes. I saw all those in theaters, and they all. Love Hurts was a little bit bigger, but Companion, which I really think is really good. I think you'd really like it. You watched it.
Yes.
I think it's very good. But the size of the movie, the scope,
Yeah.
is so self-contained that the cost is nothing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you could do such a great comedy here too, meaning within the scope of this budget and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And it would be so great. And I would like to think that it would do well, especially with that low of an investment level.
You know what a lot of that is too. I've been So a lot of this, I think, too, is the idea that some of the people getting enough traction to get someone to put the money up for a movie
Yep.
are social media personalities.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And the social media comedy person has even less experience with anything
Right.
beyond making social media stuff.
Yes, that's true.
And I mean, we've seen it over and over and over happen, right?
Yes.
And so they don't have like the ability to make that translate. And it also never does translate. And so often the studio finds out like, oh, but we put the big Vine Boy in a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And nobody came to the Vine Boys thing. And everyone that saw the trailer hates us.
Yes.
And I think that's where a lot of it is.
It sucks because, I mean, the movie industry has always depended so heavily on that opening weekend.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think that the whole make a great thing, it's like, I really think ultimately it's so much more important than figuring out how to get people through the door that opening weekend. That it's like, if you do have like a middling open weekend on a movie with a very modest budget,
Yeah.
but you made something fucking real funny, that it's going to live.
Yeah.
It's going to really
Yeah.
live, you know?
You hope so. You hope it'll
hope
live.
so. You hope so.
I don't know. Now it feels like back when what we were talking about when we were horny boys.
Yep.
Yes.
There was the term like direct to video.
Yes.
And it was a pejorative, and it was like, this isn't very good.
Right.
Right.
So many sequels were just direct to video.
Yeah.
I think we live in a world now where like direct to video is the standard. I think
Me too.
because it's all streamers,
Right.
and it went directly to streaming, and that never makes me excited. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think that's where we are. This is all getting too downer, right?
Yeah.
This is all getting too downer.
But then you get Palm Springs.
Yeah, you get some Barb and Star. You get stuff.
Monkey
That's-
Man was going to be straight to streaming when it was actually finished, and Jordan Peele was the person who
Yeah.
made it go to theaters.
Dinner in America, the movie that
Yeah.
I talked about previously, is seeing like a swell, and they're doing like a tour of screenings. They're just on the road
Interesting.
doing
That's awesome.
doing that, and it's spectacular.
Yeah.
You
That's
know what I
great.
mean?
Yeah, that's
it's
awesome.
so great. So it is out there. You just have to like figure out how to like activate people to get them to go to these things.
I know.
But yeah, so this is all crashing in my mind
Yes.
over the past couple of weeks because my son is watching a show that I watched when I was a kid and is holding hands with girls.
Yep.
If he's
becoming my little Fresh Prince.
punches that V card before the age I was,
You know what would be so
I'm
funny?
gonna cock block my kid.
Well, I was going to say, here's the premise. I got a premise for a show.
Okay.
All right.
You're like, I lost my this. I'm making this up. I lost my virginity when I was 17 at the homecoming game.
Okay.
Right? Finn's 17th birthday.
50th yard line.
Finn's turning 17.
Coin toss.
The homecoming game is 3
lost.
months away. He has a girlfriend he's been with for a long time.
Yeah.
He's like, Dad, he's like, I think we're getting to that point. And you're like, I got to stop this guy.
Yeah.
And you have to start slashing the tires.
Or I'm just like, what would be best? The day after homecoming.
Yeah.
That's when you want, trust me, Would I steer you wrong? The day after homecoming, because she's thinking about that. Yeah. Let her get that out of her system.
Hey, you know what'd be great? 2/3 of the way through the movie, because it's a movie in my head.
Okay.
He
Everything
goes,
is.
So, Dad, when did you first, lose it? And you're like, it's so long. Who can remember these? And he finally gets it out of you, and he's like, wait a minute, you're trying to stop me from beating you, and you're like, why would I?
Yeah.
And then it becomes a race between you two.
Wait, what am I racing to?
I
To
guess
prevent it.
To prevent it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a race to.
I was going to say, because the way you were talking about it, I could picture for some reason both of us are trying to sleep with someone.
Yeah, you're trying to
but then
bang the
I'm
girl,
like, wait,
too.
yeah. That's the only way I can stop it.
I guess it's a race for you to prevent it somehow
Right.
until a certain time,
Yeah, yeah.
and for him to get there before the time.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
That is fun.
That's a fun to me. Like, make that comedy. Who cares? It's fun.
Yeah, why not?
It's like a fun little thing.
It is interesting because it is that cliche of like you want better for your kids, and now I'm in this thing, and there's this deep down there is the 13, 14-year-old horny boy me, 15, 16, whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
where I'm like, well, no, because I did it first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that dumb thing.
I love
it really is that stupid thing.
I love it.
I say we would be, you know what? Someone with the authority to do so and the background scientifically and psychologically to put something out. Please do a study about the going away of the teen comedy, the horny boy movie,
Yep.
and the rise of school shootings. That's all I'm going to say. We have a problem with pent up rage-filled boys.
Yes.
And they're getting turned into little fascists right
Yes.
now because our system is so, right?
Yeah.
Because comedy people that make podcasts are like, let's just have Nazis on. What'll happen? Oh boy. Man, you know how sometimes I say something in a southern accent? It's fine. You all love me. Anyway, here's a Nazi.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous. Because I was a wrestler on a real world show. Fuck off. Truly the dregs of society. Anyway, I do think we got to give these horny boys a thing to just enjoy and laugh at.
I completely agree with this.
I can't tell you. I don't know what year it was. Maybe it was 1999. Maybe it was the year 2000.
Is American Pie the solution?
I
the
think in a
school
lot of
shootings?
ways.
People are saying that the teacher should have a gun in her desk.
No.
Copy of American Pie.
Yeah.
Or just be super attractive and the boys can be like, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
the cleave.
Nothing happens, but they're like, oh, yeah.
Who knows what could happen?
Right. And then the teacher makes like a reference to something that she was in before, but only we know because we're watching the
Yeah.
movie.
Yes.
No, I do think like we gotta bring back the horror. I can't believe there was that period of time.
I love it.
I seriously, that year, whatever it was,
Yeah.
Two Girls Kissing was the most important thing for my friends and I. We were just like, that happens in that. We have to see that. We have to see that
Absolutely.
movie. When does it come out?
Oh, yeah.
We will create a series of heists to ensure ourselves sitting in that film. It's rated R. We can't go yet.
Trench coat.
We will go. Yeah.
It's so funny. I didn't think about this until you brought it up, but like
A lot of guys in trench coats at this movie.
Cruel Intentions
tall.
was that for sure.
Yeah.
And if it didn't have that, you would never watch Cruel Intentions as a teenage boy.
As a teenage boy, I would have been like, I don't give a shit.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I remember watching that movie being like, there's this like weird like brother sisters or are they gonna fuck or something? Because the whole movie's horny, but they're related, and I don't like that. Hold on, shut up, everybody, shut up, because they're gonna kiss. They're gonna kiss. They're at the picnic. Shut up.
Do Cruel Intentions without horny? It's not a thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
No, I think it's just Romeo and Juliet. Which, by the way, how has there not been? Oh wait, there was a horny Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Was it horny?
I think it was a little horny.
Yeah, it was
For, you know what though? I think it was for horny girls
I think
Yeah.
so.
because of Leo.
Yeah.
I think Titanic was for horny
And they
girls.
tried to trick the horny boys by going, guns.
Well, I think that they.
Claire Danes.
Claire Danes.
in.
I think that-
my so-called horny life.
I think Titanic was for horny girls, and they
Yeah.
tried to trick the boys with Kate Winslet's two boobs.
I don't think any horny boy gave a shit about Kate Winslet. I'll be honest.
We
gave a shit about boobs.
I was excited to see the boobs.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I went into it more excited to see the ship sink than the boobs.
Yeah, I was
Really?
there for the maritime disaster aspect of Titanic.
That's a good name for this episode.
You're just a huge Molly Brown fan, right? Nothing will sink that gal.
Nope.
Oh,
That's hilarious.
It's there really was that year where it was just so. I remember when Tattoo came out.
Yep.
And my friends and I are just like, have you fucking heard about
Well,
this?
you know what's,
Like, yeah.
it's funny. There's actually a blind spot for Ray that we can kind of instruct you about. There was even more horny girl kissing stuff going on that you missed out on.
I'm sure I did know. I just haven't listed it. What do you got?
Wrestling did the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They did wrestling. They had the bra and panty matches, and they had HLA. Do you know about HLA?
No. Is that a home
Nope.
home association? Home Loners Association?
Hot
Hot?
lesbian action.
Oh.
And they would literally,
Brad, you're disgusting.
they would literally come out on Raw and
Yeah.
be like, "Everybody, I think it's time for a little HLA," and they'd have two girls come out and like be dancing and grinding on each other. And it was I had a shirt as a 15-year-old boy
Yeah.
that said HLA with the outline of a sexy woman on it.
You know what? I think it's kind of gross, but I will say this. I guarantee you, no one in that auditorium, not one of those horny boys was thinking about somebody that they ought to shoot at school.
Yeah.
I think so. You're right.
I think we could save lives.
With HLA.
No, I'm not saying HLA. I'm saying horny boy movies. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying horny boy movies. I don't want that. No, I don't want it.
Movies for horny boys, not about horny.
Hold on. FHB.
It's gonna get.
BHB.
It's gonna be.
Hib hub.
Yep.
Remember
It's
how-
like FUBU.
Yeah.
For horny boys, by horny boys.
Yep.
HLA was fucking insane. That they would just make a segment on
Yeah,
their
man.
on their wrestling show that's broadcast everywhere
Yep.
in arenas with families. Let's have some HLA.
Yeah.
That is insane.
I think it would be. I think there should be space for it. You
I
know
think
what I mean?
so, too.
Also, how interesting is it that we are so like sexually outspoken now?
I know.
Sexuality is a huge topic. We talk about preference. We do all of these things, and it's so on Front Street now. But we've become so fucking repressed in movies. Movies are so repressed now. Sex comedies are gone. Romps are gone.
Yeah.
No more romps.
No more romps,
No
yeah.
more scamps.
I think we might be seeing the return though, because Substance was almost Best Picture, and that was like the horniest movie I've seen in years.
It was horny, but it was horny with a point, though. You know what I mean? That's
How about-
Yeah. Give us more pointless horniness.
How about what
like,
about?
like Brad's life?
Well, maybe that's maybe that's how you have to do it now.
I think I don't know. I would like to see. I think we've come
Fun
to a
horny.
place where you can laugh about it. You can have jokes. You can treat this as a comedy. I don't think it's allowed in some way. I think we
I think
have
so.
become repressed. There's a lot of talk about how younger people are like, movies don't need to have sex scenes, and they're
I
like, we
know.
don't want that.
That's like a
it
whole
takes
thing.
it
Have you
away.
seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about Twisters, when that came out, that movie, and they had a scene where the two leads kiss at the end of the movie, and then they cut it, and it's like, it's just weird shit
Yeah.
where I'm like, so do you want us all to be like sexless in the things that we
I
take in,
I
but be
completely-
hyper aware of sexuality in general,
I
but
completely
only in a
agree.
serious way?
I completely agree. I
It
think about this
breaks
all the
people's
time.
brains.
It's so weird that as a society, we're like anti-slut shaming. Everyone should bang everybody. Everyone should be open about all this stuff. But also,
Which, by the way, I agree with
me
those
too.
things.
Me too. I agree with
Yeah.
those things too. But by the way, let's also pull sex away from all storytelling.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
very bizarre.
Unless
How do those
it's-
things coexist?
Unless it's like this weird insular space like Euphoria or something like that, where it's almost like, well, but that's what we're doing. That's
Yeah.
the point of it.
prestige television.
Yeah, and it's tough because it's not in a comedy space. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yeah,
it's
it's-
not happening in that space.
Yeah, I think Euphoria, like, there's a lot of consequences and drama.
Well,
and,
Euphoria is essentially like the spiritual sequel to Girls.
Yeah.
Because that had that kind of element and it leaned into comedy stuff. But are we now talking about like it's from the viewpoint of women?
Yeah.
Which
Maybe.
I think both are. That's true for both cases. Mm-hmm. Is that a thing? I don't know.
Maybe because I Yeah, it's funny because one of the horny things that we're kind of leaving out too is like slashers and horror movies.
You sure? Yeah.
And I think that has gone away from that too in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it.
I'm not saying like we got to bring back when movies were movies.
Yeah.
When you could look at some titties.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that at all. But I do think there is something within this where it is like, oh, that is kind of gone, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know what I don't want for my son? I don't want his option to be sexless and then full on everything.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Because that's the crazy part, right?
Yes,
Oh, it's not
exactly.
in the movies. Go look at the kid's phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's where I don't want it to be, because then it does the opposite of what we purport we want to do, which is like, this is all normal. This is all
Yeah.
normal
Exactly.
shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It really
At
is.
least we could look when we were horny boys, and we were watching our horny boy things.
Mm-hmm.
At least we could look at that, no matter how we felt, straight, gay, doesn't matter. You could look at it and go, you know what? All the horny boys are horny boys.
Yeah.
I'm a horny boy.
Yep.
These are all horny boys.
We're admitting to
It's
ourselves
okay.
that we're all in this together.
Yeah, it's okay.
And you don't feel alone in it.
Right, yeah.
I agree with that.
Man. Oh no. Has a lot of this just been young white men have a real hard time of it?
No, I don't. No, because we're not.
I hope not.
I don't think it's white.
Yeah.
For sure, not white.
No.
We're definitely not.
Oh, I didn't care what they were. I didn't care at all.
It's a lot of ethnicities getting horny out there.
Yeah.
Believe
Push
you
them
me.
together. I don't
Most
give
of
a
them.
shit.
Most of them.
Believe
yeah.
you me. I live in New York City. It's a melting pot.
Oh.
In a lot of more ways than one.
Nope. No, thank you.
I think this conversation had value. I think,
too.
I think
Yeah.
we hit on something that I don't think this episode will be recognized for what it is.
Yes.
Brilliant.
For years.
Yeah.
Right.
I think years from now they'll look back and they'll go, "Wow."
That was the catalyst for the relaunch of the horny boy movies.
You know what?
Exactly.
Again.
Combination: American Pie, Porky's, American Porky's.
Porky.
I think all Americans are Porky's.
Revenge of the American Porky's.
That happens way too much. That happens way too much. There are drones that have that written on the side.
Yes.
I think that. Yeah, no, I think. Hey, Tom,
MySpace Tom.
you're getting a little older. Tom Cruise.
Oh.
You're getting a little older. These doing your own stunts is going to get a lot more difficult. And you yourself started with some horny boy films. So why don't you, as a producer, produce some horny boy movies?
yeah.
Don't write them, because I don't think you have the mindset for it. But you throw it over to us.
We'll write 'em.
And we are nothing if not experts in our experience in our adolescence of being horny boys.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Tom, we're waiting. The phone and
It's not ringing. Is he
nothing.
calling?
Nothing.
huh.
That's funny.
Well, folks out there, if you have questions, comments, concerns, or otherwise, or financing for a series of horny boy movies, send us an email, funbearablepod@gmail.com, or find us on socials @funbearablepod. Give us a rate on whatever podcast network you consume. Follow us if necessary. Whatever you need to do. Let's get this idea. Let's get this ball rolling. And very stimulating conversation with y'all. For Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten, I'm Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
Will
did he
Smith texted.
Okay.
He said he would do it, but he can't touch a woman. And Jada has to be there for the whole thing.
Well, he doesn't need to star in it if he's just producing it.
No, he means like when we meet.
Okay. I mean, I guess we could.
Hold on.
All of our business meetings are normally.
We're just three men. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Jada considers Brad a woman. Okay. All right.
I'll stay home.
All right.
I'll stay
Yeah,
home.
no, you don't have to say
you know
no.
what?
Just don't touch him.
I don't have a car to get there, so
Yeah.
it all works out.